Attorneys, what is a new way to view your billable hour requirement?
Welcome to this next episode of the 6-Minute Obsession. Rob, what are we talking about here?
We are talking about creating a new paradigm on how to view the pressure you feel from your billable hour requirement.
A new paradigm. Well, I got a paradigm. So no, just bad joke. So what are the three real takeaways that we want to give attorneys here about this paradigm shift you're talking about?
First, it's recognizing that you don't have to leave your current position to create this new paradigm. It's about thinking of ways to cope with your billable hour requirement by honoring yourself. And it's thinking of ways to cope with the pressure so that it can actually benefit you.
Okay, I can't wait to get through those there. So we'll get to the benefits part at the end there. I'm looking forward to that. So wait a minute, you're telling me this was my solution, Rob, that I was putting out there. I was going to tell all attorneys just quit your job and the problem's solved. You're telling them they don't need to quit?
Well, how well does that work? We're going to another place that has a billable hour requirement.
Yeah, pretty much.
You're at a small firm, a big firm. Probably if you're doing criminal work or family law work, I'll leave that out. But probably with family law work. Look, I don't know. I've never done it before. But most firms have a billable hour requirement. It's how you track things. It's the nature of the beast. Mm-hmm. So you're not going to escape it unless you leave law altogether, which is not what you want to do. You spend too many years. So how do you create this new paradigm? How do you create a new, as I've used the term before, narrative for yourself to really find a way to deal and to enjoy all the work that you're doing?
Right. So we got to get to the place where the fact that there are these billable increments, these billable hours, they're not really the enemy. They're just part of the landscape that are there. And so how are you going to still do what you want to do and care about what you do and not just be oppressed by the clock? We've been talking about that all along, I guess.
Yeah, and we talked about values last time. We talked about how you find the values that align with what you do so you don't feel that pressure. This time, it's talking about honoring yourself. And what I mean by that, we only have so much energy to give. It's like a savings account. Mm-hmm. If your savings account's down at zero, you don't have any money in savings left. And you can refill that amount, but you can't just it doesn't grow on trees. You have to actually make a conscious effort to refill that amount. And it's about honoring yourself and honoring your values. So how do you do that? Well, I know for me, whenever I was stressed, I would go actually leave my work and go get a cup of coffee. And I know that cost me some billable time, but it allowed me to come back and feel more refreshed so that when I was getting that work done, because I got that store of energy back up. I honored myself. I honored my values. And taking a break was one of my values. And being able to have that flexibility was one of my values. So by going and getting that cup of coffee, I recharged. I recharged my battery. So
it's a great point, Rob, because the point is you could say that it cost you billable time, but odds are it didn't do any such thing because you knew yourself well enough to know that if you stayed at your desk and tried to keep your nose to the grindstone, that when you're feeling depleted, you're actually starting to get less efficient. You're going to be kind of shuffling your papers around or doing other things that are just going to eat up probably more of the time than it took you to step away, clear your head, get that cup of coffee, and come back with a fresh perspective and a fresh boatload of energy.
Right, exactly. But it's about giving ourselves allowing ourselves to be able to find that time to honor ourselves, to not say, oh, I have too much work to do, because as you just said, there's that time to recharge, and knowing that you're coming back, it's not going to cost us time if we're going to spend 15 minutes longer at work that day because we took that 15-minute break, but we're going to bill those 0.25 hours rather than sitting at a desk feeling like you have the 2 o'clocks and sitting there and not getting anything done and saying my day's done at 2 because I'm exhausted and I still have another 7 hours to put in that day. By finding that time to recharge ourselves and allowing ourselves the flexibility to recharge ourselves by honoring our values, we can go forward and we can be more productive and we can create a life that's happier for us in any situation that we're in. Mm-hmm. So, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, so we've talked a lot about values, of course, and that they're personal. There's no universal set of values that is going to tell you exactly what your values should be. You've got to find yours. And the same is true, of course, in trying to find the ways that really help you cope with pressure and cope with that feeling of the clock that is, it's going to creep in from time to time. We're going to lose perspective once in a while and feel oppressed by the clock. So knowing, like you said, in your case, taking a walk, getting a cup of coffee. For somebody else, it might be, budgeting their day so that they can, step out at lunchtime and hit the gym, whatever it is. Reading a book, whatever, to kind of break up the flow of things. That's going to really keep you more efficient in the long run anyway, or as efficient as you're going to be.
And that's that new paradigm. So you don't have to leave your job. I mean, you may step out of your workspace, but you don't have to leave your job, because it's about you. It's really about you as a person and what you can do for yourself and how you can help yourself and find that benefit for yourself, to find that enjoyment in no matter what it is. Even if it's reading a legal text, or let's say you really like reading cases, you can even get work done at the same time. You could find, hey, I really like reading cases and delving into them and finding the language of how it helps a client. That could be a way to recharge yourself. So you could
Rob, it might be, pulling out your iPhone and spending 12 minutes watching an episode of the 6-Minute Obsession while you're at your desk.
That's a great thing. You can learn something about yourself, and you can feel a little better, and you can go back recharged and beat that other person or whatever you're doing in that case, so that you can really delve in and build all those hours. 0.2 isn't that much in a day.
That's right. That's right. And, again, I'm joking, but I'm not joking. I mean, it could be this, it could be something else, but anything that helps you kind of, again, feel in control, feel that you're making choices, that you're able to kind of do things that keep you aligned with the values that we've been talking about, that you spend a lot of time defining. It might be spending time with your coach, and doing some alignment work, doing some values work, so that you're feeling where it is. Now, I suppose, Rob, there are cases where you do discover that you do have to leave your job, where you've discovered that you've really made a horrible error in judgment taking this job, and you're in a place that just does not the slightest bit align with your values. But I'm guessing that's really the exception, that most people, it's about changing your relationship to your job, not changing your job.
Exactly. It's a lot about relationship. As I think I've said before, if we run from a place that's a terrible place and run to a new place, we're going to find the same patterns over again. It's going to feel like deja vu.
Absolutely. That's what I have found, and I'm sure you'll find it in your work as well, which is that the more it feels like you're running away from something, the less likely that you've really understood what it is you're running away from. And then we have this really weird quirk as human beings. We have this amazing ability to replicate the very thing that we ran away from, and suddenly we're like 6 months into the next job and saying, oh my God, it's the same thing. How did I do that? Well, I did that because I ran rather than moving towards something that was really in line with my values. And odds are you'd be, even if in the long run you do need to leave the job that you're in right now, you're still better off taking the time within the job to understand why it's not a good fit. You're going to make a much better choice, right?
Exactly, and that's some of the work that I do is work with people, helping them when they've decided to leave a position. Find the best way to leave on good terms with their employer, to move on so they feel that they've actually gained something rather than just lost however many months, however many years of their life at a position that really wasn't a fit for them. It's about leaving with the best mindset possible, so that you're going on with a fresh slate and a great attitude to start all over again.
Well, I think that's a great example of what you're calling honoring yourself, is not letting yourself be driven out of a situation, but saying, hey, look, it's not me versus them. They're not the bad guys and I'm the good guy. It's looking at, how did this happen? How did it evolve into what it is? Let me really understand what it is, so that, as you say, you're leaving on good terms, but as I'm saying, you're also moving towards something that is going to be a much better fit for you. A lot of times a negative experience, looking back, you're almost thankful that you had it, because there's so much that you can learn from it if you've taken the time to understand how this turned into a conflict.
And that's getting a little deeper than the 6-Minute Obsession allows us for. But
indeed,
it's what if there was no negative experience? What if every experience was a positive experience because we learned something and there was an opportunity in everything that we saw? And if we could live that way, the possibilities are endless for us because there is no pressure. Pressure is an illusion that we're creating for ourselves, that we're told to create for ourselves. But
Rob is the Zen master.
but that's just a state of mind that you enter. Not all the time. You don't live in that state of mind, but it's true. And by actually saying, hey, where's the opportunity? How can I get a benefit from this pressure? Well, as we talked about, one of the benefits are we get stuff done.
Right.
But it's about finding that way to cope and to deal and to honor ourselves so that we can get the best out of ourselves.
Absolutely, and I really like that last one there. I mean, because that's true. I mean, looking at how it can benefit you, understanding that where it hurts is revealing something. So just to recap, so we're talking about, you know, making this paradigm shift, and you're inviting people to look at the fact that you don't necessarily have to quit your job or leave in order to make this paradigm shift. You can work from within, both literally from within your job and from within yourself. That you're looking for a better understanding of how you're going to cope with pressure that honors your values, that honors, you know, your core self, and then that you're looking at these moments of pressure, these moments of pain, and trying to understand how can they benefit me, what can I get out of this, how can I learn from it and grow from it. Does that pretty much cover it, or?
It does. It does.
Okay, excellent. And again, as you said, this is the work that you do, and if people are looking for coaching to help them make this paradigm shift, at graffstandard.com, they can get in touch with you. What's the best thing for them to do when they get there?
They can sign up. They can click on the page, and they get a free 30-minute session with me. They can sign up on the Contact Us page, and they'll get in direct contact with me, or shoot me an email at robert@graffstandard.com.
And we will keep coming at you with 0.2 billable hours worth of pain relief for the legal profession. And if you want to know about the upcoming episodes, just get on the mailing list. It's right below this episode. So if you look at that little sign-in box there, put your name and email address in there, you'll never miss an episode of the 6-Minute Obsession. So until next time, we'll be here. Talk to you soon.
See ya.